ChatGPT just started doing 3 things it could never do before. It now remembers facts about your life correctly instead of mixing up old details. It can go into Gmail or Outlook and actually write and send emails for you. And it can build a real spreadsheet inside Excel without you touching a single formula. None of this is a rumor or a future promise. It's already live right now. And the reason this actually works is simple. OpenAI rebuilt the memory system from the ground up so it updates itself over time instead of hoarding outdated notes. And they opened up direct write access into the apps you already use every day. Before we break down exactly what changed and how to use it, hit that like button, drop a comment telling me which of these features you didn't know about, and subscribe because AI tools update fast and most people miss the good stuff. And one thing before we go further, I only share methods that I test myself, so everything in this video I've personally opened, clicked through, and tried on my own account. Let's start with the update that quietly might be the biggest one. For years, ChatGPT's memory was clumsy. You'd mention a trip once, and months later, it would still bring it up as if it were happening right now, or it would forget something important you told it 2 conversations ago. That's been rebuilt. The new memory system reprocesses what it knows about you periodically, so outdated information gets updated automatically instead of sitting there forever. Here's a real example of how that plays out. If you told it back in May that you were planning a trip to Singapore in July, it used to just store that sentence exactly as you typed it. Now, once July actually passes, it updates that memory on its own to reflect that the trip already happened, so future answers are grounded in your current situation instead of outdated plans. On top of that, you now have an actual memory summary page you can open and read, where you can delete specific memories, turn memory off completely, or manually edit exactly what it says about you. That single change matters more than it sounds, because it means you're no longer trusting a black box. You can literally see what the AI thinks it knows about you and correct it. Now here's step 2, and this is the one that changes how you interact with it day to day. The confusing pile of model options is gone. Instead of trying to figure out what thinking extended or thinking heavy even means, you now get a simple slider that goes from instant up through medium, high, extra high, and finally 2 pro tiers for the hardest tasks. Think of it less like choosing between different AIs and more like choosing how long you want it to think before answering. Quick question? Keep it on instant. Complex research, financial analysis, or a hard coding problem? Push it up to high or extra high and let it actually work through the problem before responding. This alone fixes one of the most common complaints people had, which was never knowing which model to pick. Step 3 is where things get genuinely useful for daily life, not just chatting. ChatGPT can now take real actions inside apps you already use, not just talk about them. Inside Gmail and Outlook, it can draft an email in your voice, and once you approve right actions in settings, it can even send it directly without you copying and pasting anything. Inside Google Docs, Sheets, and Calendar, it can create a document, build out a spreadsheet, or schedule a meeting on your behalf. And there's also a dedicated ChatGPT experience now built directly into Excel and PowerPoint, where it sits inside the app itself, so you can ask it to clean up messy data, build formulas, or turn a rough outline into a formatted slide deck without leaving the program. And for anyone managing money, there's now a personal finance feature rolling out that helps you track spending and understand your budget directly inside a ChatGPT conversation. Picture this. Instead of manually building a budget spreadsheet from scratch, you describe your monthly expenses in plain language and it organizes everything into a clear breakdown you can actually use. Now, here's a mistake I'm seeing a lot of people make with these new features, and it's an easy one to fall into. Because ChatGPT can now remember more about you and take real actions inside your accounts, people are connecting everything without checking what permissions they're actually granting. Write actions, meaning the ability to send emails or edit files on your behalf, are off by default for a reason, and turning them on for every single app without thinking it through is how you end up with an AI sending something you never actually approved. Before you enable write access anywhere, open the settings, check exactly which actions are allowed, and start with read-only access until you trust how it behaves in your specific workflow. Same goes for memory. Since it's now storing more detailed, longer-term information about you than ever before, it's worth actually opening that memory summary page and seeing what's in there, rather than assuming it's harmless. All right, here's the golden tip, and this is the one thing most people watching this still haven't done. Go into your ChatGPT settings, find Personalization, then Memory, and actually read through what it currently has saved about you. You will almost certainly find at least one outdated or slightly wrong detail in there. An old job, an old project, a plan that changed. Delete what's wrong, and just as importantly, tell it directly what you'd like it to remember going forward. Things like your working hours, your writing tone preferences, or ongoing projects you're managing. Once that memory is clean and accurate, every single conversation afterward gets noticeably more personalized because it's finally working from correct information instead of guessing. This 5-minute cleanup is the highest leverage thing you can do this week to make ChatGPT actually feel like it knows you. I test new AI deals every week, so if a new free method comes out, you'll see it here first. There's one more thing worth knowing before you go. Older models are being retired on a rolling basis, so if a version you used to rely on suddenly disappears from the picker, that's expected, not a bug, and your existing conversations automatically shift over to the current model without losing your history. That's exactly the kind of quiet change that confuses people if nobody explains it, and it's exactly why I keep tracking these updates so closely. If you want to actually see how to set up right actions safely, step by step, without accidentally giving ChatGPT more access than you intended, that's coming in the next video, so subscribe now if you don't want to miss it. I'll see you in the next one.